is almost over, and it's time to look back and reflect on the year of 2012 in cinema. And obviously I haven't seen every film. There are films I would have liked to have seen this year, such as Flight, although I'm not sure if that's even out in the UK yet, or if it's going to be out next year. I don't know. I hate that when there's always like a big gap between releases in the US and the UK, especially when I have friends in the US who have seen films like Ryan Chatway, who just saw Django Unchained, and we won't get to see that here in the UK for another 3 weeks, so really annoying. Anyway, yeah, Flight, Lincoln, Life of Pi, Seven Psychopaths, The Master. There's loads of films that I really want to see, but I haven't had a chance to. Now that I don't have a cinema card. But anyway, for most of the year I did have a cinema card. In 2012 I saw more films in cinema than I ever have in my life, and that record will probably stand for the rest of my life. I can't see another year where I'll have the time to really watch that many films again. But anyway, I've compiled a top 20 list as opposed to a top 10 list as I did last year, and I will leave a link to my top 10 films of 2011 video in this video, because I think it'll be quite interesting. It'll be nice to do one of these every year. But let's kick straight off with my list. I'll try not to go too in depth. Number 20, The FiveYear Engagement, starring Jason Segel and Emily Blunt. Great comedy film with a bit of heart to it as well. But it's like all those films that have come out over the past maybe eight years or so. For me, starting with like say the 40-Year-Old Virgin, and you get like Knocked Up, Superbad, the kind of Judd Apatow, and then just like the same kind of group of people, Jason Segel, I can forget Sarah Marshall, James Franco, Seth Rogen, Jonah Hill, and Michael Cera, and all those people, Paul Rudd, and there's always kind of films starring those guys and then someone else, like Mila Kunis was in Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Emily Blunt is in this film, but I would say this film is had more of a kind of heart to it, I guess, and it was quite a nice romantic film, but very funny as well. I enjoyed it a lot. I've got to try and be quicker on this, otherwise I'll take a very long time. But yeah, I really enjoyed The FiveYear Engagement. A bit too long maybe, but otherwise really good. Some really funny scenes in it. Number 19 is a film I have, and it is Carnage. And I absolutely love this film, Roman Polanski film. It stars Jodie Foster, what's his name? John C. Reilly, Christoph Waltz, and Kate Winslet as two couples whose children have had a dispute, a fight in the playground, and the whole film takes place in real time in the apartment of Jodie Foster and William C. Reilly, and Kate Winslet and Christoph Waltz. They visit and they kind of try and talk things out, and one thing leads to another. They don't end up leaving, and then it's just a brilliant film. And I love that cover as well. It just shows how they kind of put up a pretense at the beginning, and then by the end of it they're just like letting loose and giving themselves a piece of their minds and not trying to be so fake and nice for the sake of it, even though they've really got a problem with each other. Brilliant film, loved it. Unique. Number 18, Brave, this year's Pixar release. Very, very good film. Fantastic animation, just looked absolutely beautiful. Stars Kelly MacDonald, Emma Thompson, and Billy Connolly, primarily. About a Scottish girl, Merida, I think. It's been a while since I saw it, and yeah, well, you know the story. If you don't, then go watch it. It's a Pixar film. Very good. Enjoyed it a lot. Obviously, because it's on my list. Number 17, Ted. Seth MacFarlane's directorial debut, in which Mark Wahlberg plays a guy who wished for his teddy bear to be his best friend in real life when he was a kid, and his wish came true. And so Ted, voiced by Seth MacFarlane, kind of grows up with Mark Wahlberg and is smoking pot with him and all that kind of stuff while they're in their 30s. Hilarious film. I've heard people say that it was like, just like a Family Guy episode. I'd say there's a few bits in it where it feels like that, but it was very rounded. Good story. Felt maybe a bit too forced of sentimentality at the end, but it kind of balances off nicely with a really funny joke. But really funny. One of the first times I've really, really laughed in the cinema for many years, probably since Pineapple Express. Number 16 is a film that no one saw, I don't think. A Fantastic Fear of Everything, starring Simon Pegg. I don't know who the director is offhand. But it was brilliant. Very weird, very slow at times, hilarious, just very random. But I absolutely loved it. I thought it was brilliant. Simon Pegg was awesome in it. And it's a bit over the top as well, but it was just brilliant. I mean, there's this one scene where I don't even want to spoil it for you, but there's this one scene. It just reminded me of something like of maybe a Quentin Tarantino film, or it just felt it was awesome. It was great. Go check it out. Just give it a chance. You'll probably want to turn it off after about 20 minutes, but I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. Can't wait to check it out again. Number 15, Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. This is a film stars Steve Carell and Keira Knightley. Steve Carell, his wife has just left him as the world is about to end in a couple of weeks, and one of his neighbours, Keira Knightley, she kind of ends up coming along with him as he goes to try and find his long lost love, who he still kind of holds a place for, even though he was married, and they kind of go on a bit of a trip together, and it's the end of the world, and it's funny, but it's also a very, very sweet film. I thought it was very, very unique, and the ending did not cop out. I thought the ending was awesome, and featured probably one of my favourite romantic lines in a film ever, and I'm a sucker for those. I thought it was fantastic. And again, one of those films not many people saw or talk about. Number 14, Prometheus. Loved it. Saw the midnight screening of it when it first came out. I could have had the Blu-ray because I bought my mum the Blu-ray for Christmas, even though she was like, "I don't care, it's Blu-ray, what's the difference?" I was like, "Oh, well, I thought you'd appreciate it." Never mind. Anyway, I watched it with her, so at least I got to appreciate the HDness. But I want to get the 3D set. I don't want to get the 3D set, but I want to get the 3D set. Why? Because the 3D set has the 4-hour documentary that I really want to see, but I'll wait till that goes down in price. I'm in no rush to see it. I mean, obviously, I can just use my mum's Blu-ray if I want to watch it in the meantime. Loved it. Brilliant film. It kind of answered some questions, brought up a lot more questions than I would have liked. Part of me was wondering why they had Guy Pearce play Wayland, because he seemed more like an old guy, a young guy in old person makeup. Don't know why they didn't get an old actor, but then at the same time you get more range, more of a reliability, someone who can go on those sets and stuff. I guess if you had someone who really was that old, it would be difficult, I guess. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm overthinking that, but it just seemed a bit strange to me. But in the extras of the Blu-ray, you do see, the young Wayland, played by Guy Pearce. But I loved it. Ridley Scott really kind of tied it in with Alien while it was still kind of its own monster in a way. No pun intended. Nice little kind of moments there for the fans. There's a lot of references to the older films, even references to Alien Resurrection, if you look hard enough. Or if you just, see what's in front of you. I thought it was brilliant. Really loved it, and it looked fantastic, more than anything. Number 13, Snow White and the Huntsman. I'm actually really surprised by this. I even like Kristen Stewart in it. People say, "Oh yeah, it was a really good film, but she was crap." I liked it. I thought maybe the speech she gave near the end, where she's kind of like rallying everyone up, was a bit forced. But apart from that, I thought she was great. She looked the part, and it suited her, I think. Yeah, suited her very well. Chris Hemsworth? Or is it, there's another one, isn't there? There's a brother. I think it is Chris. Yeah, Liam Hemsworth is the other one. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth plays the Huntsman, and they are going to be making a sequel to this, so I'm looking forward to that. It was just great. It was a really cool fantasy film. There were these dwarves who were played by these amazing actors, like Ray Winston, and it was actually what's his name? Oh, and it was his last film ever. I forget his name. Bob Hoskins. Yeah, he was one of them, and he was really cool. Loved it. Great fantasy film. Enjoyed it a lot. Number 12, Chronicle. This is another one that really surprised me. This is a found footage film. Well, not really found footage, because it's not like this footage was found, but it's told through video cameras. The main character of the film, he's basically filming everything in his life because his dad's kind of, maybe abusing him, and so he buys a camera and he's filming himself and stuff, and then him and a couple of guys end up finding this weird thing in a hole in the ground in the middle of this forest, and once they find this thing, they start getting powers, and they can move things and all this kind of stuff, and they become kind of superheroes without saving anyone. and he has the camera with him at all times, so you see it through that. And then there's clever twists as well, where you see other angles from people's cameras and stuff. It was done very well in that sense. The main guy, I don't know what his name is, but he was in Lawless as well this year. He was a really good actor. He was really good, and I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I'd say this and Troll Hunter are the two best found footage films I've ever seen. Brilliant, absolutely loved it. The end kind of fight was just fantastic. I was just sitting there just thinking, like, this is one of the best things I've ever seen. It wasn't really, but you know, it blew me away at the time, and yeah, definitely one of the stronger films of the year, I thought. Number 11, John Carter. Love this. And again, it's a film that no one really seemed to care about, and I still maintain, I think if Disney had released this as John Carter of Mars, it would have made a lot more money, because people didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. I just saw a picture, I thought, John Carter. Sounded like a kind of a gangster film. And then I saw kind of a picture like this, and I was like, that's interesting. It feels a lot like films you've seen before, you know. Star Wars for a new generation is kind of a basic way to put it, I guess. Taylor Kitsch is awesome in this. I really like his character, and I love everything about this film. I enjoyed it a lot. It was really kind of a cool, fun sci-fi epic. And what was really cool about it is that it's a character that's 100 years old, so it's not kind of like a, you know, just out of the nowhere. It's, you know, there's a real history to the character of John Carter of Mars. But there you go. I really loved it. Not many people. I've lost myself there. Not many other people. It bugs me when things don't sound right. Not many others thought it was good. Okay, we'll go with that. I won't edit that out either, because I can't be bothered. But yeah, not a lot of people seem to enjoy it. They certainly didn't pay enough for it, because it's bombed. Well, it didn't bomb, but it didn't make enough money to warrant sequels, which is really disappointing to me. Now into the top 10, I'm going to try to be a bit more quick. ParaNorman. Love this. Stop motion animation, just beautiful animation, stop motion work, whatever you want to call it. Really, really cool story, just quirky, really enjoyed it. I can't think off the top of my head who did any of the voices, but it was really good. Definitely worthy of being in the top 10 for me personally. People have said that Frankenweenie was better, Tim Burton's stop motion animation film for this year, but I've yet to see that, so yeah. Number 9, Dread. You know, that was a surprise. I was thought, you know, Connie wanted to go see it, and I was like, oh, alright then, let's go see it. It doesn't look that good. It was amazing. I loved it. It was just great. Carl Urban, fantastic. So badass as Dread. And spoilers, we never get to see him take the mask off, which was awesome. Again, though, looks like it's not going to get a sequel because it didn't make enough money, which sucks because it was so good. It was just such a fun, violent, kind of great film. Loved it. Just the concept of going up a tower block throughout the whole film, fantastic. Number 8, Lawless. A kind of Prohibition era, kind of or Depression era tale. True story of the Bondurant brothers, who kind of sold moonshine and stuff. Played by Tom Hardy, Shia LaBeouf, and some other guy. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was great. Again, very quick for 5 seconds. Spoilers, but Tom Hardy is actually the Terminator in this film, which was kind of funny and kind of annoying at the same time. But yeah, anyway, I thought it was great, fantastic. Can't wait to see it again. Wish Gary Oldman was in it more. I think everyone has said that. Guy Pearce was fantastic and literally a real slimy character in the film. Number 7, The Avengers, or Avengers Assemble. Brilliant, it's like the perfect popcorn flick, as they would say. Fantastic. I mean, everything that's built up to it just paid off in spades when this came out. And yeah, it's one of those films I think everyone went to see more than once. I think that's why it made so much money, and everyone was talking about it. You know, people who I know who never talk about films were raving about the Avengers. It struck a chord. I don't know. I don't even know if Avengers 2 is going to kind of make that much of an impact as the Avengers did. I think that was kind of a lightning in a bottle kind of thing, and I thought it was a great film as well. Number 6 carries on with the theme of Dread. It's a film about going up a tower block throughout the whole film, and it is called The Raid. And this is just an amazing steelbook. All the windows are debossed and stuff, and yeah, I love it. This is a fantastic film. This is an Indonesian film directed by a Welshman, I think. I want to say Gareth Edwards. That name just popped into my head. It might be completely wrong. Anyway, it's all Indonesian actors anyway, and the martial arts in this film, the fight scenes are just off the hook. You know, I don't usually use that term, but it will in this case. It was off the hook. Amazing, absolutely fantastic choreography. It almost went too far with the choreography. It was just brilliant. A lot of action, really cool scenes. Loved it. Really, really cool. Unlike anything I'd seen before. Number 5, coming into the top 5 now. A film I should have on Blu-ray, but I've just been waiting to see if anyone got me it for Christmas. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that. And it is Moonrise Kingdom. And actually, no, I was going to get it when it came out with the slipcover and the art cards, but every slipcover was just battered, and I was just like, oh. So it looks like I'll just be getting the normal release of that. Moonrise Kingdom. I was really excited for this. Wes Anderson's first live-action film since 2007, I believe. Yes, and yeah, really excited about that. It was the first time I got to see a Wes Anderson film in the cinema since The Life Aquatic, which was, 8 years ago now. And I just come back from holiday, and I was just so excited to see it. But I was so tired from travelling, but I went to see it anyway and absolutely loved it. Brilliant film, about kind of a childhood romance, but also kind of a coming of age and kind of dark at the same time. There's kind of as much as it's kind of a light-hearted film, with a lot of humour in it and a lot of kind of Wes Anderson-ness to it. But again, his films are always like that. They're very light-hearted on the outside. When you look a bit deeper, there's always something kind of a lot more serious and not even dark, I'd say, but there's more of a depth to it than I think maybe the average kind of film viewer would not catch up on. Maybe they would, I don't know, but for me personally, I really look into films and stuff, and it doesn't take much for me to get emotionally connected to something, and with Wes Anderson's film, that's very easy, certainly. So I really, really enjoyed it, and I thought the two leads in that film, the two kids, were fantastic. And it was also great just to see people like Edward Norton, Bruce Willis, Harvey Keitel, people who had never worked with Wes Anderson before, being in one of his films, because he has kind of like a set kind of number of people who he works with all the time. Bill Murray, Jason Schwartzman, who were in this. So it was good to see people like Bruce Willis being something that he's never really been in before. Edward Norton as well, so that was a real highlight as well. Number 4, Skyfall, the 23rd James Bond film. I actually tried to watch all 22 beforehand, didn't quite make it. I got up to about GoldenEye, which is still pretty impressive, 16 films, and I'm now up to Die Another Day, so I've almost watched all of them within a few months. But it was amazing. Watched it in Norway, obviously. Absolutely loved it. It's probably the best Bond film technically. Just the way it looks, the way it was shot and everything, and it kind of just not reinvented, but it had kind of a lot of it had quite a big feeling of nostalgia and looking back, but at the same time looking forward, and Javier Bardem was a fantastic villain. Sam Mendes was just, really knocked out of the park with his direction on this film. Daniel Craig, probably maybe his best performance as Bond, although I haven't seen Casino Royale in a long time, and I love that film, so but definitely, definitely a lot better than Quantum of Solace. And yeah, some just great set pieces and character stuff as well. I loved how Judi Dench was involved very heavily as M in the Skyfall. Number 3, The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey. I was not that hyped about this for, forever really. I was like, oh, cool, I guess, oh yeah, I'll watch it. But in the last month before it came out, I was like, okay, actually, yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. I didn't watch any trailers. The first time I saw the trailers when I went to see Skyfall, which was in late November, early December. So it was actually only 2 weeks before the film came out, maybe a week even. It was actually a week before the film came out that I saw the trailer for the first time, like properly. And I thought, wow, this is going to be cool. And I went to see. I've seen it twice now, and I've done the whole video and stuff in it, so you can check out that. I still need to do a review with it with Connie, so look out for that, as I've yet to give my full thoughts on the actual film. But it was just brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Loved how it just linked perfectly with the Lord of the Rings films. And such a fun adventure, It's a bit jarring because it isn't Lord of the Rings, and you kind of like, you want Aragorn to be there, and for me anyway, you want Merry and Pippin, but I thought Richard Armitage was great. He carried the film very well as the kind of the lead hero in a way, as Thorin Oakenshield. Great seeing Ian McKellen back as Gandalf, of course. Martin Freeman, who I was very skeptical about, and he's the reason really I wasn't that interested in this, you know, at all. I just didn't think he'd be able to pull it off. I just kept thinking of, you know, just the way he acts and stuff. But he really, I don't know what he did, but it worked for me anyway. Just don't see it in 40 frames per second because I hate it. Well, I didn't hate it, you know. That was the thing. I'd hated the 48 frames per second because the film was so good. I still enjoyed it the second time when I saw it in 48 frames per second. Number 2 is Looper. I don't know. Maybe I would say that I think it's the best film of the year. It's so original. I thought. People are like, oh well, it's like the Matrix, and then it's like the Matrix and Time Cop, and you know, and it's just to me, I wasn't sat there thinking, oh, that reminds me of this. I was like, wow, this is awesome. I absolutely love it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis playing the same character, and you know, there's all the time jumping and all that kind of stuff, and it's not really as complicated as people make it out to be. It's not that hard to wrap your mind around it at all, but it was fantastic. And for me, there's a character in it who's a very young boy, and he's amazing. Such an amazing performance from this kid. People were laughing when they saw it in the cinema, this certain scene, but it really affected me. Like, it was like, wow, that was powerful. Yeah, an amazing performance from such a young actor. That really notched the film up another level for me as well. Emily Blunt also stars in the film, and it is directed by Rian Johnson. Fantastic, absolutely loved it. 10 out of 10, brilliant. But the number 1 film for me, of course, was there ever any doubt, is The Dark Knight Rises. I don't think it's the best film of the year technically, but it's my favourite film of the year. It's one of my favourite films of all time now. It just connected with me. It hit me, you know. If I'd let myself, I would have cried at the end of this film, you know. And I'm not ashamed to admit. The ending was so perfect. The last 3 minutes it's the best ending to a film ever. Just the way it was built up over the whole trilogy, and the way those beats hit at the end of the film. However you want to rip it apart and say, oh, you know, I was stupid or whatever, or, you know, pick holes in it or whatever. I mean, I could really fire back at some people who have problems with the film, say, oh, well, how did Bruce get back into Gotham when no one else could get there? Because he's Bruce Wayne. Do you really need to think about it? Do you really need it spelled out for you? No, you don't. Tom Hardy was fantastic as Bane. I've talked about this film before, I don't need to go into it. Anne Hathaway was great. Michael Caine was fantastic, you know. I loved, what's her name? The French one. Marion Cotillard, whatever you want to call her. Whatever her name is, not whatever you want to call her. But, yeah, she was good as well. Absolutely loved it. But, yeah, just, I'll never forget that morning. 5 AM showing, going to see the first ever showing. In ways that are kind of, maybe not the best ways that you remember it as well, because of what happened in Denver, but you know, before that, you know, just going there, we walked into Cardiff, you know, it took us like 45 minutes, and we sat down and watched the film, and it was just a great atmosphere, and yeah, it just hit me. And when a film does that, it means that I, you know, will favour it over others, even if they're not as good, even if it's not as good. So there you go. My cameras are 25 minutes, I'll probably cut some stuff, so it's been going on for over 20 minutes now. Thank you for watching, and I will be making another video talking about my most anticipated films for 2013. But I think I'll be merciful on you, and I'll wait for a few days until I upload that, because it doesn't really matter. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. What were some of your favourite films of 2012? Leave a video response, that would be very cool. I'll be leaving this as video responses to everyone who's made a top list of 2012, kind of share the videos around, all that kind of stuff. And thank you for people who participated in my status on my Facebook page. I wasn't really participating, I was just commenting, but you know, I said I'm compiling my list, you know, what films do you think? So check out my Facebook page as well if you're interested in that kind of interaction with me, and I'll catch you next time. My next video will probably be like a kind of vlog style video, so that may or may not be up your street. Thank you for watching, see you next time. I've already said that about 3 times, bye.
Yeah, he's really cool, but he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause